All right, everybody. All right, everybody. Let me get this screen set back up. All right, everybody. Let me get this screen set back up. All right, I'm getting some lag here. Let me see here. Test. I think I have my volume on my phone. Everybody good to go? First off, I want to welcome my two buddies, Drew and Mr. Curtis Hustings. Welcome, y'all.
Thank you.
What's going on, everybody out there? It's going to be a good night tonight.
Thank you guys for having me too.
Yes, it is. Curtis, Are you excited?
I am. I'm excited for your race, and I'm excited for this rest of the year to play out.
All right. Yes, me as well. I'm sitting here trying to build a couple cars myself to try to get ready for I'm gonna do a little warm up race in January in North Carolina. So
nice.
Trying to get some cars ready for that. So, man, so excited to see you. I know you and I talk a lot, and we spent some time together recently at SEMA. But we are so pumped to have you come to this race and be able to sit down with you. Because I don't think there's anybody hardly left that knows more history about Team Associated than you do, right?
It's pretty incredible, though, when you read up like on RC10 Talk or just how much information there is out there that I've forgotten. So
right.
I'm glad it's out there.
You know, one of my biggest references is the one that you guys have is the timeline of the RC10. It's actually posted on Team Associated's page. When I forget or get dumbfounded about something, that's normally the first place I go. And there's just so much history on there that shows that. I may pull that up at some point in time so everybody can kind of see where that history is. But it's pretty amazing to have that as well. So, Drew, I know you're sitting there very excited, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really excited. You know, I was just talking to Curtis and you guys in the backstage of the studio here, and I was at Hoosier RC this weekend doing some racing at the track where we're going to have this big event in March, and it's just kind of that transition period where a lot of the drivers are, you know, running some of their new equipment and whatnot. And Aiden Horn was at the track this week, testing all week, and you know, just got really excited. Just talked to him a lot about it as well, and you know, everybody's just really excited. And so talking to Aiden and watching him run these B7s and B74s and the things that he does with these modern cars, it's just incredible. You know, I think the Mod 4 was like the last race last night that we watched, and man, the things that they can do with these cars just make them look like superheroes up there, and they're just great people. So to the point is that AE is such a great brand, iconic brand. It's been a part of my life, you know, from the standpoint of my RC life since I got started. You know, the story, I went to dinner on Friday night with Adam Rails, who's a Team Associated team driver. Curtis, I'm sure you probably know Adam. He's big in the vintage scene as well and raced at the Worlds in 23. And I was telling Adam that, you know, when I walked into the track in Indianapolis with a baby Bajorn on, I had like my newborn, you know, almost newborn boy on there. And I walked on this track, I had like a B4.2 and I had no idea what I was doing, right? And the first person that started talking to me and kind of gave me some advice and kind of took me in was Adam. And so he's been a huge advocate of mine from the standpoint of the AE brand, from the standpoint of vintage racing. So really, I guess with saying that, I don't know if we even be here having this conversation today if it wasn't for one of your Team Associated drivers. So quick shout out to him, but just gets the standard for this great discussion that we're going to have about Team Associated tonight.
And Jason of RC10 Talk just said hi, Eustace. So I'm sure he's thankful of what you just said.
Eustace, Curtis, you mean Curtis?
What I say? I'm so sorry, Curtis.
Must be the bald head. Must be the bald head.
Yeah, it's the bald heads. So Jason, hey, buddy. Jason is the one that pretty much runs RC10 Talk and knows probably more about RC10s than many people. So
yeah. Well, and Curtis, with that said, you know, Dirk, he's told me so much about you. he has a great relationship with you. Obviously, this is my first time virtually meeting you, and I look forward to meeting you in person in March. We're super excited to have you as a confirmed legend for this event, and just what you're going to bring and what your brand's going to bring to our event is absolutely priceless to what we're trying to build here. And we're so thankful to have you on board. And got my RC10 clear car here. I got a Norlock, kind of did like a split body. It's like clear. It's missing the orange with my paint scheme, so that's super cool. Love this car. I wanted to share it, but yeah, I mean, I've got so many questions that we can start however you want to. But if you want to talk a little bit about, when Dirk came to you with this concept of the race that we were having in March and the reunion, and just talk a little bit about what your initial thoughts were. I love to always start there.
Yeah, he contacted me. I don't know if he texted me, messaged me, however, called me. But when he brought up the race, he didn't even know the dates yet. He knew he wanted to put something together, something that was bigger than anything that's been done before, and to have real legends, guys from back in the day come out and actually run. And I thought the concept, the idea was great, and it's time that it happens. There's been a lot of vintage races, the nationals and other races like that, but I think this particular one, with you guys behind it, reaching out to the true legends and the guys that I know you've been talking to, I think it's going to make a big difference, and it's really kind of cool for me to see these guys again too, and hang out with them and to be there and just to kind of, I haven't even been to a vintage race yet. It seems odd, right, that I haven't even been to one, but I haven't driven an RC10 since there was a B2, right? I just stopped racing it. Wow. And behind me, you can see that's my car getting ready to go for your race.
Awesome.
So
yeah, that was why. So yeah, talk a little bit about what car you're bringing to race with at the event. I think everybody wants to know that, and as do I, for sure.
So I'm going to say it's a problem. My problem is that I can't run anything stock because I never have. Every time we make something new, it's always new. It's always prototype stage, and we get it to where it's production, and then I'm already working on the next thing, right? We can never talk about what I'm working on because it's always the next thing. Mm-hmm. And so with my car, I got the clear car. You have your clear car. Dirk has his clear car. That's my clear car. Basically started with the silver chassis, no clear parts on it, but I started messing with the front end a little bit, trying to figure out how to get hex so I can run hex tires on the front and back. So I got a couple things that I've been playing with, trying to get it to do that.
Awesome.
Also, I wanted to run 12 millimeter shocks. They're already trying to talk me into running 13 millimeter shocks, but baby steps for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So the last car I ran was a couple of years ago at OCRC. My B6.4, and I'm just taking parts off of it, taking shocks off of it, taking front caster steering blocks off of it, seeing what I can do. I know I have to keep it in the realm of the race rules. So
right,
so that's kind of what I'm doing, just tinkering with it, taking some time and playing.
Well, there's no other way that we would want you to bring a car to the race without it being a total, prototype Frankenstein that you're putting your mark on. That's the way it has to be in this situation. So
yes, it does.
That is really refreshing. I'm excited to hear that. So this is a perfect transition. So you're working on your prototype car to bring to the race, and obviously one of the great things about the Worlds, which is kind of what makes these legends who they are, right? The IFMAR World is like that race every 2 years that, I've based my collection on, but it's also like everybody, gets hyped up about it. And normally you always bring prototype cars to those races normally, or there's parts on them that nobody else has at the time, which is always what makes that draw to that race so cool. So, over the years, I've been building up various cars, and in the team car kit, you guys talked about this car particularly, the 1989 Australian car. So this is one of my Masami replicas here. this company out of Australia kind of did a really cool kit where it's got like 3D printed arms and a 3D printed stealth gearbox on there that you talked about in the video that Masami debuted in '89. And it's just a really cool car. So definitely, you know, a shelf piece only, but it's just really cool to see guys like that put all this effort and time to making these cars. So I guess the question is, especially from a collector like myself, and I know the questions are coming in, this car in '89 never ever hit production, right? You obviously had a big part in building this and designing all this front bulkhead and the stealth case and stuff. So can you talk a little bit about this car and like even to go to the extent of why the '89 and '91 Worlds cars never really got to the production level for a kit release?
Yeah, so it's funny you happen to mention that. I got right over here the actual cars that are Masami's cars, the '89 and
Amazing.
'91 cars. But that World Championship race is always a race that we look forward to, and in a lot of different ways. Probably maybe more so years ago because everything was still early on in development, right? So like the championship car, that's when we came out with the longer arms, or the team car come out with longer arms, a stealth transmission, you know. So it's the start of the change from the original RC10 short arm car, you know, short shocks in the front and all that. So we knew we had to do something different. That's when other brand cars started getting into the picture. They started making option parts for the car. We knew that longer arms would probably be better. Carbon fiber was just kind of getting into the picture. So we thought, well, a carbon fiber chassis would be a great platform, basically, because you can machine it. And basically, that car is all hand machined. There are some standard parts on there. The rear bulkhead is standard. The caster and steering blocks were fairly standard, but everything else after that we had to make. So having a carbon fiber chassis was easy to machine up and just bolt stuff onto, rather than trying to make another aluminum tub or something. And we knew the aluminum tub was going to go away. Losi was getting into it, and they made a plastic tub or plastic chassis car. And we knew that that's kind of the direction of the future. Plastics were just kind of getting into the development too, with glass-filled plastics, urethane plastics, all different kind of plastics, you know. So it's kind of the baby boom of the RC cars of that era of plastics and carbon fiber and all that. So it was kind of a neat period. So it kind of left us an open platform to build a long arm car, make it in carbon fiber so it's easy and quick to make. Put all of our thoughts and ideas into this platform and see what we can do. And even the transmission, the stealth transmission, Eustace was making a 3-gear transmission, and that looked promising. So we kind of just took all these things together, put it all together in one platform to see what it can do, and that was the '89 car. We made 3 of. I don't remember how many exactly we made. I think we made 5 altogether, but those are the cars we took to the world and kind of gave us our direction, for the next car to make, the B2.
Wow. Yeah, I think Jason kind of said it. It kind of led into the B2, right? But to be, to have you on here and talk, because I know that you're pretty much your focus and is development, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So you've been at Team Associated for how many years now, Curtis?
I've started working there when I was 16, and in high school, I come in the summertime and go after work or after school. I go there to work on that, later hours, and just that's when I started. Almost 48 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
Too long ago. About ready to retire though. Getting closer.
Heard on that one.
But I started doing packaging. Actually I started even before all that. My mom would bring home slot car wheels, and I'd put set screws in the slot car wheels. She'd bring hundreds of wheels home and hundreds of set screws, and I just put set screws in wheels and watch TV, and then they glue them up and put tires on them. So we started off as a slot car company, getting into RC cars. And I kind of went through all the positions you could do at Associated Packaging. I worked in the shipping department. I used to pull bodies there, RC bodies, slot car bodies. I just wanted to be a machinist. In high school, I took machine shop, welding, all the shop classes and all that was my passion. And so started working in the machine shop, drilling and tapping holes.
Amazing.
That's so awesome.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So there's a guy.
but
So
with
there's a
all
guy.
that,
Yeah.
but with
Go
all
ahead.
that too, I was racing also. So my oldest brother Brian, he raced with my dad, and when he went to school off to college, then I started racing, and 8 scale, 12 scale, off road, just kind of everything, and it kind of led me to the knowledge of what an RC car should feel like, what you want it to feel like, and so that kind of helped to know that what you're making and how it should feel after you make it. So it's just kind of, that's me and where I am, how I
Wow.
kind of started.
It really is amazing. I mean, all the things that you guys have done over the years with just the different platforms. I mean, I own a car of every one of your platforms from the beginning in '85, and or at least when the RC10 car came out in '84. But yeah, it's just super cool. I mean, there's a comment that just got posted. It's from John. He's talking about the RC10. They call it the GX Stealth Masami build. So there's a company out of Australia called Grand Prix 3D that did that replica kit. And then obviously before that happened, there was the Nix 91 kit that came out, and it was kind of a replica of the 91 Worlds car. And I know very few of those cars were made as well. And maybe even the Masami one you might have back there might be the only one left in existence. I don't know. But I guess the question is, talk about, your thoughts on the people that have put so much time into trying to, look at pictures and try to recreate these arms in 3D form. And, is that pretty rewarding for you to see people like that put so much effort into something that you had such a hand in, firsthand in back in the day, and now they're trying to recreate it, some 20, 30 years later?
Yeah, actually, I thought it was kind of cool that they did. Actually, both of those guys had reached out to me and wanted dimensions. How long are the arms? What's the wheelbase, and what's this and what's that? And I don't give out any of that information, but I gave them a direction.
Mm-hmm.
I would take pictures, whatever pictures you want. I'd have the real cars, so I'd take bottom shots, close-up shots, everything I could do to basically spur them on to keep them going, because I thought it was a great idea that they're able to recreate these and get them out there, mostly just to keep up the vintage,
Yeah.
everything vintage, right? So the more people that are into it and excited about it, and just talking about it and getting to the track and running it, it's just good all around for the hobby, especially the vintage part of it, so it keeps it exciting. And I think both those guys building those cars helped build it up even more, because it's something that nobody could get, right? You
Yeah.
couldn't get the 91 car, you couldn't get the 89 car. You could get vintage parts, eBay or whatever, through friends or your garage or your basement or whatever, but you couldn't get those cars. And I think that kind of spurred it up to the next level. So I thought it was a good thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I love to hear that. I mean, this car here, this is my '91 car, which I think is, kind of the crown jewel of RC. Masami and I communicated earlier this year, and he sent me a signed wheel dot. Cliff
Nice.
Lett has signed the chassis. So I guess the question is, when I bring this thing to March, you're gonna have to put the final touch on it for me.
Of course, my pleasure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, as a collector and just a passionate vintage person, I really, appreciate what you've done, and it's been a part of my life. So, it's just super rewarding that things that you have done firsthand have just continued to pay it back to other people's enjoyment, 30, 40 years later. Really cool.
So
Yeah, anything I can do.
Curtis, let's talk a little bit about, there's been a run, right, on a bunch of new releases from Team Associated, and let's kind of talk a little bit about the whys. I'm sure some of us got to do with the 40-year anniversary, but where's the passion coming from again to recreate kits and so forth? And so on with Associated right now?
I think that when we did 5 years ago, or however long it was ago, when we did the first re-release, it was kind of neat to see those go out, and then people get excited about that and start running the cars again. And then with the 40-year reunion and our 60th anniversary, not reunion, 40-year-old RC10 anniversary and our 60th anniversary for Associated, it kind of gave us kind of a time period that would be good to try it again, right? We had no idea, what would happen. When we did it a few years ago, we sold a lot of the re-release RC10s, and then the World's Car did good, and then it kind of faded out, right? So we thought, well, now's a good time to do it. We have a good reason behind it with our anniversary. Let's start with something different. Not just do the same car we had, but do the clear car, and that's something that people always have asked, well, how do we get a clear car? How do we get a clear car? To do a 3D printed clear car is very expensive. It could cost at the time probably $5,000 to do a car, actually probably more with all the prototype parts. But this was a way to get a customer a car that's kind of like a clear car or a prototype car in their hands, and it's something different and collectible. And that's kind of what started it.
Yeah, I love it because it always, when y'all would post the first prototype cars, right, before they came out, it's like, holy cow, I'd love to have a clear car. And when y'all came out with that, it was just like, yeah, man, that's exciting for sure. Yeah. So it continued. The clear car came out, and then it's kind of went on with the 40th anniversary and the Halsey car. And you think it's going to keep going?
I think it's going to keep going. We hear you out there on Facebook and and the different platforms and stuff. We hear everything that everybody's saying. You're releasing cars too soon. You're releasing cars, too many cars. But when can we get this car? And when can we get that car? And that's what we're waiting for. So we hear everybody, and we know what you're saying. And so we're going to do it at the level that we are ready to release them, and in the order that we're going to release them. And some people may like them and some people may not, but that's the beauty of where we are. We have the choice to do kind of what we want to do, and hopefully it's what you guys want.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Like I said, I got the clear car. It's also been cool in the clear car to see all the different, I think Spencer was one of the first people that might have posted like a body that was half and half. I know Larry Genova, he's a great painter down in Florida, has done some of my stuff, and he painted that stuff, that half and half body. And so it kind of got people thinking. Next thing you know, you see Jason kind of, with Darkside getting some stuff done. And so I sent my clear body to Chris Norlock up at Darkside. I was like, my scheme, just do something cool with the clear. And he did this really cool half and half thing. And I just think it's so cool on my shelf to just have like a symbolic car that's part of me, but it's part of really the history of where RC really got its off-road start. And I love to look at it in the basement. So it's just super cool what you guys are doing. And I look forward to seeing what else is to come.
I've seen some of the guys do the translucent orange on it, and I thought that was really cool to see that. And then guys start getting the clear servo cases, the clear electronic speed control cases, and just going to town. It's just exciting to see the creativity of guys and what they come up with.
Agreed, 100%. I mean, it's, I don't have any electronics in mind, but man, some guys go after it, and I just think it's so cool. I'm like, I just look at the pictures and hit the like button or make a comment and just say love it, because I know, the passion that they have. So it's just amazing. But yeah, you talk about the 40th and the 60th anniversaries, obviously super symbolic. My background too is I worked at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in marketing at the highest level for 10 years. And my first couple of years at the track was the 100th anniversary of the first Indy 500. So we got to celebrate that. But we also, because of the World Wars, they had like a 6 year delay between the 100th anniversary of the very first 500. So we got to basically kind of look at the 100th anniversary as a symbolic, celebration from a marketing standpoint, and we release products and etc. So I understand, when you guys see these anniversaries pop up that are very symbolic to your brand and to obviously the birth of the RC10, it makes total sense to, go into kill mode basically and pump out new things and celebrate what you guys have accomplished. So it's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
John Zamet says, I have every AE release from this year. That's awesome.
Wow.
That's a lot of cards.
And then followed up by your favorite question. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
All right, here we go. From our buddy Jason Grimes.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
I'll
Curtis,
talk about it.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Or?
I'll talk about it.
All right. Tell him.
So, Jason, it wasn't my idea, but the idea was to have something different. If you look at it in a way of, say, like baseball cards or other type of collectibles, you have your standard baseball cards and everybody gets them, but they have a special pack that's, maybe I'm not a baseball card collector, but I know they have different packs that are specialty cards, when you're in the Matchbox or Hot Wheels cars, there's a specialty kind of collection that you can get. And this green car is just something off the wall, kind of like a Rolex collectible, right? So just something that not everybody wants it because we didn't have it in the past, but it's something different that nobody has. Nobody's asking you to buy it. If you want it, buy it. If you don't buy it. But it is just very limited edition, and we might be throwing in another car here or there like this. So you just never know what you're going to get from us.
So, it's funny that you say Rolex, Curtis, because it has that. If you look at a vintage like Rolex, the green and the gold together, that was kind of their classic rendition of a Rolex. So
yeah, that
really
green is
that look.
Yeah, the green is close to that, and then with the gold, it kind of, does something for you.
Sweet.
Yeah. So above your head there, Curtis, there's a Matt Francis B2 sitting back there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're aware that Matt Francis is confirmed legend to our event now. We're really excited about that.
That is exciting.
I will say that let's see, grab this bad boy. But here's this is actually the runner. This is actually the Francis mobile that he's going to run. There was some testing that went down at Hoosier this weekend with this car. One of your team drivers helped me with it. Very promising. We unlocked a couple of small things we need to tweak and fix, but yeah, talk about that car that's up there above your head a little bit. That's a pretty iconic car in RC.
Yeah, so most of the cars that I have here are cars that were in my dad's collection. He had a museum while he was still alive. He had not necessarily a museum, but in his house, he had a large room dedicated to all kinds of RC cars, slot cars, motors, everything that he liked to collect. That's what he got. And after the race, when Matt had won, Matt had the car built, or a body painted from his painter, and then we had a car built, and this is a replica basically of Matt's car. So it was from my dad's collection.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know Matt's bringing his B2 to the race. He said it's the original body and wing from the 95 Worlds. He said the car's a little bit of a repurposed vehicle, but he's really excited to bring that car and obviously race this one. So we're excited to represent the AE brand with this runner, and Matt's super pumped. He wasn't really confirmed when we had our LIveCast about a month ago, and then 2 days later, I get a call from Dunbar. He's like, Matt Francis just confirmed, it worked. And, I think Matt was I think they were already, because part of the legend, the cool thing about this race is the legends are all reuniting together in communications mobily and stuff. And they're all like urging each other to come. And so Francis is just so happy that, he's able to come, and I know Brian's so excited to be reunited with him, and it's just cool to see these legends being excited amongst themselves about this event too. And I know you echo that.
Yeah, he was just at the shop maybe about a month ago with his mountain bike. So he was hooking up with Richard and Brent and the guys all getting together and going mountain biking. So
it's awesome.
It's good to see him again.
Yeah, we're super excited.
Yeah, he is very stoked. Mike Kirby saying, "What's up, gentlemen?"
What's up, Mike?
Kirby.
So, you know, those that don't know, there's what we call the founding fathers of this race. So that's Mike Kirby, Eddie Henley of Hoosier RC, Drew, and myself. So there's 4 people that are really putting a lot into this race in the background. And, you know, Mike Kirby and I started talking about a reunion style race probably a year after Old School started. Old School RC is going on 10 years. You know, we've been talking about it in the background, and, you know, originally we were going to do the first race at his place outside. And, you know, Drew is like, dude, you got to come check out Hoosier RC. You got to come see it. Mike and Eddie have a great relationship. And, you know, I went and saw it, and I'm like, holy cow, this place is just amazing. You know, it holds like 300 racers. You can tell the hobby shop is huge. There's a lot of pride put into the surface and the layout. And I was like, this is where we got to do it. You know, the other thing was, you know, Jason Rono, you know, we got about the same time I started talking to you, Curtis, I started talking to Jason. And, you know, Jason, him and I have been close for, you know, probably about 8 years now. And we've always wanted to do something big. And, you know, Jason was very quick to jump on board, you know, not only because of the relationship with the folks on here, but because of the relationship he had with Hoosier RC and doing the clashes there. So it's going to be kick ass, shall I say. So, yeah.
And Eddie's been commenting on a lot of stuff tonight. He's talking about 32,000 square feet of RC. He's actually in the process of leveling the track as we speak, getting ready for their big Clash of Champions race that happens in a couple weeks. And I think he made a comment earlier about how he's really excited to just, as he does this layout, he's really excited of what his vision is for the vintage race layout. So, you know, Eddie's been really great about that. We'll have him on again, but, you know, he's really trying to come up with a layout that's very flowing, doesn't have significant steep jumps to cater more to these cars, but also make it fun for the modern guys as well. And no doubt he'll do an amazing job with that. So
I've never been there. I've seen pictures of it and videos of it, and I know all our guys have been there and raced there, and I'm looking really forward to going there. It sounds like it's a really great track.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And like I said, I've been doing testing with different platforms. You know, I think I've tested almost 6 different platforms over the past couple of weeks, just trying to make sure that the cars are all kind of lined out. And then I've had a lot of people coming to me with questions about setups and stuff, which has been really cool. And I'm glad to be able to help. So if anybody has any questions, just let me know. I've got setup sheets made out for all these different cars. And, you know, I've been tested by team drivers. You know, Chris V was at the track a couple weeks ago and tested out my World's car and loved it. Obviously I had a team driver help me out with the B2 a little bit. So everything's been tested by, you know, top, you know, level drivers of the specific brands. And, you know, they're no joke setups. So that's what a lot of these guys are going to be rolling into the track with. So, but yeah, the glued surface, it's really unique. It's cool. And these vintage cars that you're building, Curtis, specifically, they're handling so well with slicks on the modern day tracks. It's really incredible and fun to drive these cars around the track. It really is.
I'm kind of shocked that it is with the motor way out back, and I know they're probably adding weight on the front, but having the right tires and setup, I'm glad it's working. You know, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, a lot of guys are obviously, it's open shock, so a lot of guys are putting you know, big bore stuff on there, which is fine. But you know, a lot of the testing I've been doing so far has been small bore stuff, and honestly, the cars are performing really well with the small bore stuff. So, you know, the one thing that these cars just don't love a lot is, you know, some of the steeper jumps. Even the current layout that was in there had 2 pretty steep jumps, and they didn't take that all that well. They could do it, but it wasn't a comfortable feeling like we have with the modern cars right now. But I think that, really the only limitations that these cars have, in my opinion, is, the ball cups are a little weak on them, just from the standpoint of what these newer tracks are holding with the fast speeds and everything. But there's so many modern ball cups out there that fit these older ball studs, even, that you can put on there, and then you take away all that concern. So it's just simple things like that make it, you just tweak a little bit and you've got durability. And that's the cool thing, is like we talked about it with Eustace, is, you put these slicks on there, the electronics are really easy to coordinate now. Really, you just create durability out of this car, and then next thing you know, you're around there having fun and making laps and seeing how tight you can tuck these corners on these pipes, and they're just a blast to drive. I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing you up on the stand in the Legends class, man. I mean, we've got I'm visualizing it now, and I know we've announced some of them already. You're the fourth confirmed legend, but we've got to have a driver stand of about 10, 12 guys that are, it's going to be pretty iconic to take a picture of that, and just see all your guys' faces up there together. It's going to be really, really rewarding. I know Dirk's super pumped about that part.
I was never the level that these guys were. I'm more the mechanic and machinist.
That's all right.
And guys, but I love it. So I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah, that's what it's about. I mean, Francis was talking about how his site's kind of going away, so he trying to make excuses, and
good.
Yeah. So
we're all gonna have them.
We're all gonna have them. That's right. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And even Joel, he's great, and he's like, well, I'm not super excited about the competitive part of it, but at the end of the day, when he gets out there and starts running with all the legends on that invite class, and these cars are just so fun to navigate around. You guys are really going to enjoy it. So I'm really looking forward to hosting you guys at the track. And I say me, I mean Eddie and Dirk and Kirby. I'm just excited to be a part of there, and be a part of the event, to just be hosting you guys in general. So it's really going to be fun. So what other questions we got coming in here? I'd love to talk a little bit about the B4 platform, just from your mindset as we kind of progress. But the B4 platform was kind of regarded, or is regarded, as the most dominant two-wheel drive of all time. Won so many worlds from really 01 to 03 to almost 2003. Talk a little bit about. I guess Cav, I say that wrong. Cav won the worlds in 2011 with the B4.1. So talk about that platform just briefly, and just how dominant that was from your perspective.
I think it's not only that platform, but it was all of those that led to that, right? So it's the tweaking of the stealth car to get to the B2, and just kind of that's early on in the long arm car, the plastic chassis car. Then get to the B3. It's basically the same thing, a little bit different, but all the stuff we learned from that got us to the B4. And the B4 is when, I think it was when we're getting into the LiPo batteries. So that's probably the B5 towards the end, but it's just all of that stuff all coming together and fine tuning it, kind of like Formula One now. The guys are, they're all kind of running the same speed, and just everything kind of came together with that car to where it's been so fine tuned for so long that it kind of made it easy to drive. Like right now you see the B7, they're like easy to drive and to go fast. But at that time with the B4, it was so fine tuned over the years that it's, it was just an easy to drive car. It jumped well, it landed well, good steering, well balanced, that most people can get it right out of the box and go run it and do well. The parts were stronger. It didn't break all the time. The ball cups were better. The transmissions were fine tuned, So I think it's just an overall, just because of all the time that it took to get to that point, it just really refined and well-honed machine at that time. And then the B5 came in, right? So that's when mid-motor stuff comes, and everything kind of changed from there with the LiPo battery. So I think we took it as far as it can go, almost like the B6. We took it as far as it can go, and it needed something, a new change, a new design. And so the B4 was kind of was it. It was an easy car for a guy to buy, take out of the box, put it together, and you could race with the top guys.
Yeah, it's amazing. I actually had a friend that was looking for a new RC car starter for his little boy, and I even recommended the RB10 to him. I mean, to this day, your guys are still kind of selling that car, and it's just easy to say, hey, here's a link to a really cool, great, starter car for a kid, and it's really based on that B4 platform still to this day, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's something you can just anywhere you can run it, just in the street, in the park, on the grass if the lawn's low. But and at that time, a guy could buy that car, and with the right electronics and motor and battery in there, he can compete with the top guys.
Yeah.
It was not as much the car at that time as it was the driver. There was these young kids that came up and that were so good. They got so good so fast that they were racing with those guys. They were racing with the top guys, and you look at their cars and like, well, they're pretty much what I'm running, So it was a good time period to get into the hobby and race where you didn't need too many extra bells and whistles to go faster.
Oh, Kyrie.
Yeah, that's awesome. Go ahead there, Dirk.
Here's a question that I've had a few people ask me, and I kind of know what your answer is going to be before we even ask you this. But with 60 years of AE and the popularity of true 1A scale non-suspension pan cars, will we see an RC 100, 250, 300 at some point in time?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm going to say probably not. It doesn't mean we won't, but I think a lot of the collectors at this time period, us all that are talking online and everything, is mostly off-road vintage guys, and the 1/8 scale guys. There are a lot of collectors, but I don't think they're at the point where the off-road guys are. So the amount of money it would take to build, say, an RC300, the molds and the tooling and all that stuff, you really have to, as a manufacturer, you have to be able to sell enough to make your money back, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's got a job. They're all trying to make a living and bring home money to take care of their family and wives and husbands and all that. So same thing with associated. So you got to be able to make something and sell it to have it pay for itself. And I'm not so sure that an RC100, RC1, RC250, RC300, I don't know if there would be enough sales for that. That would be my hesitation on doing it.
Thank you, Curtis.
Yeah,
I mean, just so you know too, I hear a lot of people that they say, "Oh, there's associated. They're just trying to make money. They're trying to, just get richer, whatever." There's not a lot of money to be made. It costs. It could take $100,000 or more to build all the molds for some of these packages. So just know that money has to be recouped, and just the machining, the design time, the marketing, just everything behind it, the sales, all costs money. And we're doing this as a business, of course. We're also doing it to kind of satisfy the community too. So we're hoping that we're doing it justice. Even putting bushings in cars. We know people don't like bushings in cars, but it does lower the cost down for the customer. And let's face it, guys, most of the guys are not going to build them and race them. It's going to sit on a shelf, or it's going to sit in the box, right? So if you want bearings, just go buy some bearings. You can find them cheap somewhere. But we're just trying to keep the price down for you guys.
Yeah, and Curtis, to that point, most people have a specific bearing and stuff they want to run if they're racing anyway.
Yeah.
And when people say that type of stuff, I'm just like, look, guys, these cars, the true heritage of these cars, where you went out and you had to take a Dremel tool to them, and Eustace even said this last week. It's like, people whine and cry about the smallest things. Come on, take your time with the kid. You might have to take out a Zacto or a Dremel every once in a while. You may have to buy stuff that, I barely ever take a car out of the box and go race it, right? straight out of the box. You're gonna do different things to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sitting here and I'm sitting here, Mr. AE back here. You know, I'm sitting here building my JJ car, and it's gonna have different stuff on it, right?
Yep.
But
That's the
this
fun
is
part
one of the
about it.
cars that I was at with my first nationals and my first worlds, and it means something to me. But it's not going to be, although there was a lot put into that car and it was totally different than a stock Ultima at the Worlds. There's a lot of that happened. Like the cars y'all took their Worlds in '89 and '91. They were, you couldn't even buy the kits. Some of the stuff is different.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat to see everybody personalize their car and their workbench, right? You got your set of tools that you like from this guy. This guy's got his set of tools. You got, Jconcept turnbuckles, or, Eustace Moore's this or whatever. You got all these different things, so you can personalize your car and your pit to the way you guys like it.
Yeah.
Same thing with the screws and bearings and bodies and paint jobs and wings and wheels and tires. It's kind of neat to give you a package to work with and do your thing.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to see like your body there that's kind of clear and painted, your clear car, and it's just refreshing to see craftsmanship that you guys are putting into it to make something custom that's yours.
Yeah. And RC racing is amazing. We love it, but even my buddies, one of our favorite things to do is wrench. We have wrench session videos a lot. We just have calls and we just wrench together, and that's what makes RC really fun, is that part of it, but also just going to the track and testing and tuning and trying different things on these cars. The racing part is a portion of it that's great, and obviously the ultimate reward, but everything that leads up to it is the really rewarding part for the majority of us. Even Jason here, he's always talks about how he loves to hack up RC10s, and he's the founder of RC10 Talk. It looks like Dirk posted a comment. 30th anniversary of the B2 is in 2025. Just saying, with a wink mark. So there you go, Curtis.
So I think there's some rumors, Curtis, because Francis was just there, and there were some comments about Francis being in the shop, and with all the cars coming out and the 30-year coming out, I know you're not going to tell us if it's happening or not, but it would, yeah, we'll see. I guess that one's a little different, right? Because it's a lot more. There's not any current molding for that car, I don't think, left. So that would have to be a complete remold, where y'all had some stuff left from the RC10 Worlds or the first classic car that came out. But the B2, there's nothing sitting around for that one, is there?
There's nothing sitting around. That was from in the United States. Those molds are from. So all those molds are gone. There's nothing left there. So it doesn't cost any less to make a vintage mold as it does a modern day mold. So if you guys want them, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
baby.
Speaking of the B2s, Matt Hines, one of my good buddies, we were actually talking. His ultimate favorite platform of the RC10s basically is the B5. He loves the B5. He's got a B5 rear motor. He's bringing it to the race. He's going to run it in the revival class. He's been testing it and tuning it, and whooped my butt in May at the Derby race with my B4.2.
Mine as well.
Whooped me. So he did want me to ask you a question. It's pertaining. He wants to know how much input you had on the B5 that Spencer won in 2015 at the Worlds, because that was a very unique car that really no one has access to even try to recreate, because it was so unique.
That's funny you should ask that, because
holy cow, no way.
I got a car right here. I didn't know you guys were going to bring it up, but this isn't Spencer's car, but it is a car that they raced at the race in Japan. And we did go back there for a warm-up race in Japan. And this was the first cars that we did with the mid-motor design. So myself, I didn't have a lot of influence on it. I wasn't racing off-road at the time, but I was involved in doing the project. And I had to machine up the transmission, to get the mid motor in there, the transmission, shock towers, the chassis, and basically everything you could do to make it work. So we did have a warm-up race. We ran there, and I think we 3D printed some transmissions, and we had some issues with that being too soft and moving. So then we knew from there, going to the warm-ups, the issues that we had with the car. So then we can, then redesign it, kind of like, the 89 car and the 91 car. You just throw everything at it that you can do. New shock tower, transmission, the gears inside, just everything to make it just right for that one track. And that was the thing for the Worlds. We just had to have the car work at one track, and that was a Worlds track.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't have to have that car work at any other track, because you just need to win that one race.
Yeah. Right.
And so that's what we did. But that led us into, the B5 basically. And a lot of tracks were turning into clay tracks with higher traction and AstroTurf and all that. So that was my involvement in it, is working with the engineers, with Cliff and the guys that Associated to just bring what they designed to life, and so they can run it.
Yeah.
There's some really good pictures of that car out there, maybe even on Pettit RC or something, where it's just a bunch of close-ups after, maybe he won, or where maybe it was taken at the 80 offices. I don't know, but there's just so much cool production work that, machining work that went into that prototyping, I guess I should say. And I actually went down to Hoosiers Weekend. I actually got the body painted by his painter, Larry Genova, from the 15 Worlds. I can't have the car because it's, not relatable, but I got the body painted, decaled up, and it's actually in the case at Hoosier behind Angie. And when Spencer's there at Clash, she's going to have him sign it. So at least I'll have the body on my shelf to have a part of that world. But yeah, super cool car. And yeah, I'm glad you answered that the way you did, because that's really cool.
I need a body. That's the only thing I don't have. I have a car. I have everything ready to go, but I don't have a body. So
You want me to?
body.
Hey,
we need to get together. We can.
Yeah, we can make some. Hey, I would be happy to donate that body signed by him when I see you in Vintage Race. If you bring the car, we'll put it on there, and I take a picture with it, and we can live in infamy forever. That's perfectly fine with me.
That would be cool.
Yeah, we can make that happen. We can make that happen. I even got the wheels and the tires too. So, and the wings, the front and the rear wing, I've got all that. So basically, it just goes right on that car, and you've got a replica. There you go.
Bam.
Perfect.
So, Curtis, can we see the car that you're building for the race? Can we get any sneak peeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man,
It's funny because the
Yeah.
body itself is from 35 years ago. It's one that when I raced last, this is the body I raced last.
Oh wow!
So,
Wow.
yeah.
How cool is that?
So I even kind of forgot like how I painted my paint jobs, because I kind of changed them up. But there's a Viper body painted like
Yeah.
I ran back in the day. It even has the transponder hole.
Sweet.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so cool.
Here's my car. I don't know how good you can see it on here. I just mounted up the tires this weekend.
Man, look at those big boards on that bad boy.
Ooh.
Big boards on there.
This is pretty cool. This is like a prototype
yeah.
unveil here of what a legend's going to run, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, you got a little weight in there. I see.
Weight in
All
there. I
right.
don't know how much.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. Okay. I love
I'm
it.
seeing
There's a
B6
steering in there.
turnbuckles. Uh-oh.
Oh, those are like the quarter nut ones on there. I love that.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been working on there. I had to make a longer shock tower.
Can I see the front? Can I see the front wheels? Like the outside of the front wheels? Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
These
Man,
are just the ones
that's
I
really
ran
cool.
last.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I just
Oh, he's even got a fan. Look at that fan mounted on that thing, guys. That's legit there.
Man, what's crazy is
I made
Jose Reyes is
I
making
made the graphite piece. I don't know if I can see it. The graphite piece, I made like a little ear that stuck out so the fan can screw to it.
Yeah,
So
that is custom. I love this. That's amazing.
So I put the batteries forward. I don't know if it's better forward or long ways, so I just ran it forward because I could see it.
Yeah.
All the way farther that way. And like I said, I haven't run one of these for 35 years, so I have no idea how it's going to handle.
Well,
man, it looks good.
Yeah.
But that's what I got going. That's what I'm playing with.
Okay. Thank
I
you for
love it.
sharing that.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I mean, the World's car. I can't speak exactly to the specs of that car, but the World's car is an awesome car. You know,
Oh
it's
my God.
my personal favorite runner.
Mine as
Chris
well.
V,
Yeah.
you know, tested it. He loved it, and even Adam Rails. You know, we were talking on the stand. We were kind of out there practicing with his B3. He actually brought his B3 down this week, and we were testing it too. And he said that World's car that I have that you know I let Justin run that almost won the vintage RC race I had last year against Dunbar. He's like that car just runs so good. So you're gonna really like those World style cars. They just perform exceptionally well. So
That's good.
and that's without big bores on them. I can't even imagine what they'd be like with the big bores on there. I bet you they're really dynamic.
I have no idea. And
We're gonna find out.
I thought too that, you know, we're at the time we're running 30-degree caster on the front or 30-degree
Oh
pickup on the front, but
yeah,
all the cars nowadays run 25 or less. So
yeah.
I took my kick up and I bent it down to 25 degrees. So
Oh,
I hope it's the
wow,
right direction.
man.
I don't know if it's
Jeez.
going to work or not, but that's what I did.
You're setting a really big standard for all these people listening on these live casts there now. Wow.
Well, that's what I was telling you. Like, I can't just not do something to the car. You know,
Yeah, right.
I mean, it could, but it's not in me to leave something stock. So
Yeah.
Right.
that's kind of where I'm at.
So if
Yeah.
I come to California for a week, can we spend the week in Area 51 together?
You can spend a week in the lobby.
Okay.
Boom.
So-
Uh,
you can come to my house. How about that? You can
Okay.
stay a
All
week
right.
at my house.
Okay. All right.
You're welcome to come stay with me,
Good.
and I can show you more of what I have.
We did have a blast at SEMA together for sure. I do. I mean, you sent me a couple extra keychains, and I was
That's
gonna
right.
use these, and I still owe people keychains. By the way, guys, I got some slow down time coming at work, so I'll be able to get that stuff out. But what we will do is we can do a random draw. I'll do 3 random draws from everybody that commented on the show today. And I will get these keychains out to y'all. We'll do a little Wheel of Fortune and get those out to just say thank you. Another thing I wanted to say, I was holding up the clear card earlier. So I do want to announce, those that have not heard, Team Associated has stepped up and they are a platinum sponsor of this race. You'll see their name on the screen along with our other 2 platinum sponsors, which are MIP and CalRC, along with our founding fathers. But with tonight and us talking, you know, the clear cars are all really based on R&D, right? Curtis, would you say?
Yeah.
The clear car is
Yeah.
kind of R&D related?
Yeah.
You know, and with Curtis being Mr. R&D for AE, we're gonna start. I'll either do it tonight or tomorrow. I'm gonna start the waffle, which is part of associated sponsorship for this race. So we'll be doing a waffle on Old School RC. So if you're not a member, please join for a chance to win the clear RC10. It's pretty cool.
yeah, it's awesome.
RC10CC, baby.
Yeah. I mean, we really do appreciate Team Associates for. I know Dirk talked about it, but you know, we really can't have a vintage race without having Associated on board. You guys have just been an amazing partner, an amazing part of the history of what we're trying to accomplish, and obviously we're trying to bridge modern racing as well. And you're so prominent in that as well. And so, thank you so much for all your support. And I know Dirk's probably talked about it, but I know that he always says there was a couple people that he wouldn't do this race without, and I know your name is in that list. So he
I
talks
appreciate
very
it.
highly about you. Yeah.
And it's not just for Associated and for me speaking, it's just it's the whole vintage crowd, what you guys are doing for the whole vintage platform. Everybody, you know, Kyosho, Losi, Tamiya, Yokomo, everybody, to just get everybody to come to this race and to get everybody to run and see the community of all the drivers and all the different cars. It's exciting. And that's what it's about. It's about the hobby. How can we keep the hobby going? How can we get new people into the hobby? How can we keep the vintage growing? And it was really cool to see guys like you and me and others in the vintage to bring their kids into it. And I see some of the kids running the vintage cars too, and to get their get them excited about running. It's kind of coming full circle, and it's really good to see. You guys are doing a great job by putting this on and all that you do throughout the year, not just this race. So
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Associated appreciates it.
Thank you, Curtis. And that does kick off. By the way, a lot of Associated drivers popping in. Brian Looper's a longtime Associated driver as well, Adam Rails. But Brian Looper, you need to come. And I know you got a vintage car too, but if you don't, we'll get you in one to race. And this race too, we talked a lot about Vegas. There is going to be one coming in Vegas. Everybody's been wanting a West Coast race, and we will kind of utilize this race as well as a launching pad for that one. And so it's going to be huge. It's kind of going to be an East Coast, West Coast type deal. And so we're excited because I know Associated's doing their own big race there. And I'm glad to be a part of it. Drew, let me know.
Absolutely. And I think,
on and be a part of it as well.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, this race has just been so organic. I look back at it and I started this little vintage collection, and next thing you know, I'm building cars throughout the years, and all of a sudden these legends that I built these cars for are a part of the race, and we're able to offer opportunities for them and show them the cars we have and create that emotional bond. And this call with you is no different than, this car to every other associate. I've even got Spencer's 19, world's car sitting up there. So it's a testament to all of these legends that are coming are like a part of my collection. And it's just really rewarding for me, but it's also just so amazing to be doing this for the vintage community, with, Kirby's help, and Dirk's amazing vision with Kirby, and obviously partnering up with Hoosier. But to that point, I guess where I was going is, Jimmy Babcock's going to be our race director. We're so excited to have him. He's pumped, a former legend himself. And as Dirk mentioned, I mean, Hot Rod Hobbies is in California, so I'm not saying that's where this is going to go, but organically you bring Jimmy here, and next thing you know, it creates a relationship that makes California an easier platform to execute. So and we can't go on this call without saying, you guys are going to announce a race here at the end of the month, that's going to be out in Vegas next year, and that's West Coast as well. So if there's anything you want to say about that. But I know we're going to be promoting that event too at ours, as part of the partnership. So we're really excited.
Yeah, we're planning on doing a race in Vegas in the fall. We don't have anything nailed down yet as far as a date and the actual venue. We're kind of kicking around, possibly outdoors, possibly indoors, maybe having the timing close to the Formula One race there, or near SEMA, which is close to the same time too. So we're trying to figure that out to try and make it a destination, so people come on vacation to get out of the cold and go down there and see a real race, or come to SEMA or whatever and play with RC cars, so when we get something a little bit farther along, we'll surely get it posted, and of course work within your guys' schedule, so we're not stepping on your guys' toes, but just to get more people running vintage out there, I think it's a neat thing for all the manufacturers and everybody involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a busy fall with the Worlds in Australia, and then your vintage race in Vegas. I'm excited and I know there's guys that are talking about coming. I'm not ruling it out. Heck, I'd love to drag Rails and Dunbar out there to it as well. So, but yeah, speaking of drag, Jason Grimes put a comment up here. Can you drag Jam and Jay Halsey down here with you? ?
We're trying. I just talked to him a couple of days ago, and he, with his schedule, I know you guys, I don't know who all knows, but he's into the movie industry and the car industry and the commercials and all different levels, working with Mattel and big name producers and stuff. So things happen so fast with him. He really wants to go, and he's trying to make it happen. It may be something where he's just gonna fly in, be there, a few days and go. So, or it could be longer. Kind of all depends on production and movie producers and TV shows and all that stuff. So it's really, he can't commit 100% right now, but as soon as he can, he definitely will.
Yeah,
I love that.
And the conversations that Jay and I, and all three of us have been talking, but conversations that Jay and I have had, if he can be there, he will be there. Let's just put it that way. So, you know, Jay's committed to that. And we did want to have Jay on tonight, but, you know, his schedule is very flux, and, you know, he's got to, like we talked about earlier, everybody's got to pay their bills. So if Jay commits later down the road and he's got things worked out, he told me he needed about a month or two to, not a month or two, a week, a couple weeks to a month to figure out his scheduling and to see what happens. Cause there's a big part playing into it where he may be across the pond in order to do a big movie that he's working on. If he is, he won't be able to be here.
Awesome.
So,
perfect.
So thanks for bringing that up, Jason. We are, there's a legend you're thinking of. We are probably talking to them, just so you know.
I would agree with that. Yeah. We are. We're trying to pace out these legend announcements, you know, every couple of weeks to kind of keep it fresh and fun and a build up. But to Dirk's point, you know, I know Dirk, you've been talking to Curtis from the inception of this thought. I know Jammin's been a big part of that. And obviously you were out of SEMA and he was there. So the conversations have definitely happened with not only him, but but a lot of them. So.
Yeah, I mean, Billy Spence and himself that just commented is a legend, you know.
There you go, right there.
You see that comment, Curtis?
Yeah. We had that was a great race back then. We had all kinds of stories behind that race. So we almost rolled a rental car during that race. That's a story for another time.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we got to save some of the stuff for the race. So you know, with the race, you know, a lot of great sponsors, a lot of great people putting into this. We got some really kick butt stuff going on. We do have rooms blocked at the Caesars in Indiana, just so y'all know. More details come on that. I was waiting on a link to come where y'all could just click on the link and it takes you there. But I think last week I sent Curtis the information, and we'll get that information posted very soon. I promise. We got some great deals. I think for 5 nights, it was only costing me like right around 500 plus tax. So for 4 nights, even less, of course. So we got some great deals to give us a chance to have a little fun when we're not racing as well, if we want to. But you know, the thing I like about doing a race with Drew is he always wants to be the very best, like present the best and take care of the people that are there for the race. So there's going to be some great stuff, cool, fun stuff that you may not seen. And with Mod broadcasting this live, it's going to be the first large vintage race ever broadcasted live. I mean, this is going to be epic. I mean, it really is going to be epic.
Yeah, we're really excited. Like I said, we are planning nightlife stuff. More details on that as it kind of evolves. You know, Dirk obviously mentioned some of it there. We're also working on lots of cool things specifically for the legends, but also ways for, you know, the community to interact with them. Even though it's an RC race, right? You're going to be able to interact with all these guys as you walk up to their pits, but there's also going to be a lot of other cool elements. We have been shooting some video. Speaking of Jam and Jay and his Hollywood debut, we've been shooting some really cool production video at Hoosier recently. Greg Croft, he's a local there. He's in videography. We've been doing some really cool behind the scenes stuff. And there he is. I am so amped up for this event. So he's working on the editing for that now. There's going to be some amazing content coming from him soon. Some pump up videos, things like that. You know, associated with a big part of that, of course. So vintage community, that's coming. And like I said, we are trying to unturn every stone, you know, from the gifts that we're presenting to the racers and the legends to the seating charts to everything. You know, we're trying to come up with so many cool things that benefit everybody that's coming to this event. And if you can't be there, as Dirk said, Mod Media is going to cover it, and there's going to be waffles online with that as well. So even if you can't make it, and you know, you're in a position where you can't do it physically or just, you know, financially or whatever, there's going to be ways for you to be a part of it as well. So it's going to be an amazing event. So we're really excited. So Curtis, thank you so much for coming. Total legend in my view, as in everyone else. People that don't know everything about you, obviously, I hope they've learned a lot about it tonight as well. So we're so thankful for your ability to come out. Thank you for sharing that car. That car is so cool. It's got to be stirring people up. I know Jason Grimes he loved this. Jason doesn't get excited about a lot of things, but he's really excited about this race, and he's really excited about this call tonight. So the OG GOAT, there it is. That is some awesome. The OG GOAT, and that's what he calls you. So there you go.
He gets more excited about my hugs than he does anything else. Jason Grimes loves a Dirk hug more than anything.
Yeah. Jason's a local guy from Hoosier, so.
The neat part about the last year is all the people that have reached out to me to friend me on Facebook and had messaged me and sent questions and wanted pictures of stuff, and I try and answer everybody the best I can, and just to give them answers to things that they just didn't know or they wanted to know. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing some of those people at the race, meeting them, and just getting to know these people. I think it's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
Any posters left?
Yeah, I got one of those in my basement. I love it. I love that thing.
Maybe I can bring a couple of those to the race.
Oh, a couple signed would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be good. I mean, the legends can sign them there.
That's right, baby.
I love it. I love that poster. I love it. So yeah, thank you. I do got to pop off myself, but thank you. This is amazing. Any questions that you have for Dirk and I leading up to it, let us know. But lots more content coming. Vintage Community. 2 weeks from now, we've got another guest celebrity coming. Hopefully, one legend that will be on there is already confirmed, and we've got a guest celebrity coming on. So a lot of people have been asking about him, and 2 weeks from now, you'll find out who that is. So we're really excited.
All right, Drew. Thank you, buddy. Curtis,
thank you.
You have anything else you want to add?
No, just thank you to you two for putting on this race, and to all the vintage guys out there for being patient with us and helping us to further the community in the best that way we know how. So like I say, we hear you, we hear everything you're saying and what you're talking about, and we understand, and I appreciate all of you guys.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you. We'll go through and try to get all the questions answered as well.
Thank you.
Curtis, I really appreciate your time tonight, buddy. And I know we'll be in touch sometime soon.
All right.
Awesome.
Take care, guys.
You have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Deuces.